for the first week. How did you feel? Felt motivated, good mindset, perfect. Monday to Friday, 100% counted calories. For Saturday, allow for 500 for dinner out with friends, nice. Felt like it worked out well. Jumped on the scales this morning, was only up 1 gram difference. Perfectly fine. And again, we don't worry about the day-to-day fluctuations. It's all about the weekly average. If it's up slightly, it's probably just because you consume maybe slightly more carbs and salt, especially when you go out for dinners. You just don't know how much butter, oil, salt that they put into it. So usually whenever you eat something, let's say on the Saturday, it will usually reflect about 2 days later on the scale, anywhere from 1 to 2 days. But again, normal fluctuations go up and down, which is why we do daily weigh-ins, and then we just compare the weekly averages. And then even having said that, your weigh-ins are still secondary to your measurements anyway. If measurements go down, stick to what you're doing. Sessions, just at F45, 3 sessions this week. I think I might just stick to those, perfect. Definitely felt less bloated, nice. Sticking to my calories, not reaching more food at times when I was hungry. Yep, you'll definitely find that once you get into a good routine and you sort of know exactly what foods fit within the calories, because the first week is sort of about feeling out what works. So when you like to eat, what food you like to eat at what times. Obviously having a set schedule does help a lot. So having like a set lunch and a set dinner, because you will get hungry at times you usually eat the most. You're also having to change habits. So if you usually sit down at night and you watch, I don't know, Game of Thrones, and that's when you're like, I want ice cream. Oh, I'd like a glass of wine and some chips. That part of the dieting phase will go, as long as the best way to get rid of a craving is to starve it. From science and the evidence that we have, if you just don't give into a craving, eventually you'll lose the taste for that food or that craving. But it's not saying that you can't ever have it. It's just right now, does it fit the calorie bank? And you will get used to that, I suppose. You will learn the difference between hungry and bored eating too. Not that saying that you were bored eating or anything like that, but there's sometimes about a week adjustment from going to, say, maintenance calories, which is what you were eating, to deficit calories. Obviously, food quality makes a difference. So obviously eating mostly meats, veggies, and fruits most of the time does help. But even giving you a comparison, when I was doing my rapid fat loss, it was very low in terms of calories. And once I got past that first half a week to a week, almost never hungry. So it's fine. That will sort of adjust as we go along. Yes, but did not make it more. So from Wednesday onwards, that's fine. It's all about the weekly average for calories anyway. Dad's birthday coming up on Sunday. We'll do the same as I did for the week, allow 500 to 600 calories at his celebration. Perfect. And look, even if you happen to go over by a smidge, that's it. It's fine. No stress. Not anywhere near as good as prior to heading for Greece, but enjoyed being back. Was amazing for me mentally and keeping my mindset on track for my goals. Yes, and I honestly think a part of coaching, like what I do, is the fact that you have someone to check in. So I get to see what happened through the week, whether it's good, bad, whether it was okay. You still have to report in each week. So sometimes just knowing the fact that I'm going to look at everything can be enough to just keep people on track with their goals. I've even had clients in the past who have actually signed up. I've worked out their calories and training and nutrition. They were doing almost everything identical to what I would recommend anyway, but just the fact they had that accountability and they just knew that I was going to be like, how did your week go? They stuck to their calories. 45 sessions, F45, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5:30, nice. No pain, movements, and no extra feedback, which is good. It means I'm doing my job properly. So measurements are fantastic. So above and beyond what we should be getting for that first week. So yes, the very first week's measurements, you're going to lose a lot of water retention, bloating. You're going to go from, say, 2,200 calories down to, say, I don't know, 1,400 calories. So just the difference in calories will also make a difference in measurements. So there's usually a big drop from week 1 to week 2. However, your drop is actually larger than what I would normally expect. So from the upper waist going from 87 down to 85, a 2 centimeter drop is massive. Even in that first week, it's huge. The lower waist from 107 to 104 is epic. That's crazy huge. Hips have come down, thighs come down, and chest has come down. So if you hit 3 of these measurements out of the 5, perfect. That's still a very solid fat loss week. If you hit all of those measurements, especially chest, because for women, chest is just all fat, amazing. You've 100% lost body fat in that week. And weight has gone down a lot. And that would be a lot of that will contribute to just water and bloating. Say from 79.8 down to 76 is a massive drop. Now, don't be alarmed if you don't lose as fast next week, or even if you remain the same. Hopefully, it's nice to see the scale go down, but if it doesn't, don't be alarmed that the scale weight stays the same. So if you have a look at my most recent updates, my scale weight's exactly the same, hasn't changed at all in the most recent week, but my measurements are still going down. So we're looking for either or. We're either looking for measurements to go down or the weight to go down, or usually both. The only time that we would ever really have to talk about accuracy of calories and things like that is if we don't get any changes in either weight or measurements for at least 2 weeks. Then I'd be like, oi, we need to talk what's happening with your food and your calories. But we can cross that bridge when we get there. Calories are fantastic, protein's fantastic, fiber's amazing, steps are amazing, you smash me for steps. Hunger was obviously a little bit higher towards the end of the week. Now, it's also very good to know, or a good thought process to start thinking of is weekend eating. You may not necessarily be actually hungry towards the weekend, but usually it's the anticipation of social events which can give you a higher subjective rating of hunger, if that makes sense. So I'll give you a quick example. If you know that Pancake Day is on Saturday, or you have a social event, I'll just use Pancake Day. The days leading up to Pancake Day, you're like, I want pancakes. And you work your hunger up just thinking about Pancake Day. If you know you have a social event coming up and you know you're going to be spending more calories on food, you anticipate being full and you anticipate eating more food. Therefore, your subjective rating of hunger increases. Whereby if you didn't have those social events and you just eat the same thing pretty much every day, then usually hunger remains the same. So a good thought process to start thinking about is when you go towards the weekend, am I actually hungry or am I just looking forward to going out and eating and trying different foods? And sleep has been really good, so fantastic with that. And then photos. Cool, so I'll get you to update photos as well. So front, back and side photos. If you can't get someone to do it for you, just set it up yourself. You can do a front, back and side video recording, and then you can take screenshots of the front, back and side. So you would stand in the front for 3 seconds, turn to the side for 3 seconds, and then turn to the back for 3 seconds. So you can set your camera up against like a book or something. Then you can just go through the video, screenshot it, and then upload it that way. But we do want to take photos weekly, all right?